All right, what's up, everybody? So let's get into it. Who's the top guy at 135? In my eyes, the top guy at 135 is definitely Tank Davis, man. You got to put him at number one. That guy, he's the complete package, man. He has no doubt, he has the power. Everybody knows him for having that crazy power, but he has crazy boxing ability, man. I think his boxing ability, people don't see it, but he's had a show in a couple of his last fights. I think people are starting to notice it a little bit more. But he hasn't had to show it too much because there's that power, man. He be knocking everybody out. He's got the footwork. He's got the experience. He's got the IQ. He has everything, man. That guy's next level. I've been saying that for a minute. We started seeing his boxing ability in that fight against Pitbull Cruz, where it's crazy to me how people say that was a close fight, man, and that Cruz gave Gervonta problems. It wasn't necessarily that Pitbull Cruz gave him problems. It was more that Tank was injured in that fight, man. He injured his hand in the training camp, and he went into that fight, and it seemed like he re-injured or injured his hand more during the fight. And he basically had a box that last like 4 rounds with one hand, man. It's crazy, and he was still boxing like beautifully, man. He was putting on a hell of a show. Like if you know what you're watching, the last 4 rounds he was just using one hand. And I believe if he would have had both of his hands, healthy, he would have got Cruz out of there. And don't get me wrong, Pitbull, he's a hell of a fighter, man. That little guy's got hella heart and, a little strong power puncher and shit. But I think Davis would have got him out of there if he would have been healthy. He also showed a lot of boxing ability against Rolly Romero. And obviously, he knocked him out, like I think it was in the 7th round, something like that. Tank, for the most part, man, he's always fighting naturally bigger guys, man. And by bigger, I don't mean taller. Just talking about bigger guys, like bigger frame, like naturally bigger guys. Tank is usually always a smaller guy, and he stays knocking these guys out still, man. So I just think Tank is the most complete fighter, so I'll put him at number one. Number two, I'd have to put, and it's kind of hard because he just got to that weight division, but I think Shakur is number two. If you're just judging him based off the fighter, I know he's got a lot to prove at 135. He just got there and everything, but just judging him based off the fighters, I think you put Shakur at number two. Hell of a boxer, man. That's no secret. He's got that hell of a defense. He hardly gets hit, and he's not known for his power. But his last fight, he showed that he had a little bit of pop. He's growing, and he seems to be growing at a rapid rate. He's growing pretty quickly. Of course, he had to move up to 135 because he couldn't make 130 no more. He lost his belts on the scale at 130. So maybe with his new size, he's starting to get, a little bit more strength. And yeah, I think he's going to be problems at 135 for a while. So I'll push Shakur at number two, even though I do agree that he's got a lot to prove, but I got to put him at number two. Number three is a toss-up, man, and we're about to find out this weekend. For me, it's a toss-up between Lomachenko and Devin Haney. They're going to be fighting this weekend, so whoever takes that win, that's number three in my eyes. Now, I know people are going to argue, like, how is Devin Haney now number one? He's got all the belts and all that. These days, that doesn't really matter, man, having all the belts. If you were to ask me who would win in a fight between Devin Haney and Tank, I think Tank would beat him. That's why I put Tank at number one. Having all the belts, man, that's cool and everything, man. That's a great accomplishment on Haney's behalf and all that. He, undisputed champion. But it's different nowadays because the top guys don't fight the top guys now. This is not like before, to where everybody wanted the belts and everybody had to fight the best to get the belts. Nowadays, the best ain't fighting the best, man. These top guys, you don't see them fighting each other, man. So it's different now. You just gotta. I'm just judging them based off of the fighters, who I think is the top guy and who's the most complete fighter right there. And in my eyes, it's Tank. And, I know a lot of guys are going to argue, Haney's got all the belts, he should be number one. But I don't see it that way, because it's different times. And people ain't chasing the belts no more like they used to chase them back in the day. Nowadays, it's more about money, fights, and all that shit, and just not losing your perfect record, which is messed up. That's how it is nowadays. That 135 weight division, man, it's on fire. You got a lot of upcoming prospects in 135. 135 is going to be on fire for the next couple of years. Hopefully, we get to see the fights made before these guys got to move up in weight, and some of these fights will never get made. But hopefully, the good fights happen in these next couple of years. Yeah, but that's my list at 135. Number one, Gervonta. Number 2, Shakur, and then number 3 is a mix-up between Loma and Haney, but we'll find out this weekend. So yeah, let me know who you guys think is the top guy at 135. It's a hell of a weight division, man. It's gonna be on fire for the next couple of years, you know. So leave it down in the comment section, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, man. You know, show us some love, like the video. I'm gonna be trying to give you guys the latest boxing news and everything, all these upcoming fights and everything, and analysis, all that, you know. So make sure you guys subscribe. All right, I'm out.